Just to give a quick recap of what our group has been doing for anyone who's we haven't had a chance to catch up with this weekend. My name is David. I'm one of the anaesthetic registrars in South East Scotland. Our group has been building a web portal for anaesthesia for South East Scotland to help trainees, particularly new trainees, get into specialty as they come into the region, as they come into the specialty. And we really came here to showcase what we were doing, obviously, but as well to look for ideas on what would be the way forward for this, and I guess specifically how apps might help us solve what is essentially a giant communications problem. Just to show the website, for anyone who we didn't have a chance to show it to this morning. This is our homepage, which consists of an RSS feed together with a broad breakdown by what we thought were the important things that trainees need to know. So everything from very general information like societies, groups and bodies in the region, as well as much more specific information. And what Google tells us, because this is built in the Google framework, is that this is what's key for trainees. They want to know when they're going to a hospital they haven't been to before, what do they need to know when they go there? And we've been able to build an app. This is only Kirsten's help with the camera. I can show you. Right. So, I have faith. This is the basic layout of the app, which is one of the things we came here to set out about. And what we've got, it's basic at the moment, but I think we've got a basic framework in place. We've got, in particular, I think one of the things, if you want to get information out to people, it will show, it's loading. It's a little bit slow, I guess that's the nature of web apps, is that we have a news feed, which will load out, which is rubbish, which we can take our word for it, there's a news feed there. And a few other key features as well, which is the calendar. Sure. I think it's the contrast ratio thing there.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad there. So yeah, in terms of what we've been able to achieve with this weekend is we've been able to get an idea of what we want from the app. I guess more importantly, obviously I think as most folk here know, web apps are kind of half the way there, and there's certain features we can't have, like notifications, which I think would make this a really useful app. But what we have managed to get out this weekend is we've got several key contacts of how we do this and how we move forward with this. 45-degree angle. One of the other sort of areas of interest on the site, something I'm quite passionate about myself, is audit. And so one of the things we've been working on is an audit database for the region. And I think, thanks to Kirsten, thanks to the organisers here, because one of the things we realised is a lot of people have had this idea. We were discussing this with Sandeep and myself on the forums even before we arrived. And it's great to know that other people are thinking in what we like to think was a joined up fashion. And we've made some progress with this before we came here, in that we've now got, this is our sort of our user end of the database, so trainees and consultants can come to region, they can go to the hospitals, they can look and see what folk are doing, and more importantly, most importantly, they get in touch with people. And so hopefully we stop avoiding reinventing the wheel with audit projects. And we've also got facilities so that people can submit their own audits as well, together with an administrative facility, so that there's a bit of quality control too. And I guess perhaps in a slight conflict of interest, we've had help from one of the judges, Paul, some wonderful open source software, which now means that obviously a big part of having data, if anything, we've got too much data in the world these days, but what Paul's been able to help us do is generate visualization for this software. So that what we can do now is, I guess, at the end of the day, you won't be speaking to tell people what the bottom line is, and a picture being 1,000 words, we can now say to people, well, this is what's going on in region. So I think in summary, I think we've done some cool things this weekend. I think more importantly, we've identified what we think are some good ways forward for the project, and we made some good links with people who are going to help us achieve that. So thank you very much, and invite any questions.
That was amazing.
You're so good.
What's this a chart of? What's the...
So this particular chart, this is dummy data. This is dummy data, just showing, again, there's always, I think, a bottom line that you want to put out with a project or with a database. And we want to be able to say how many audits are going on at what hospitals. And obviously the extension of this and other graphs, we'll see, well, what specialties are doing what audits at what hospitals. And obviously you can fill a page full of words and text, but it's much more effective, I believe, to be able to put a chart up. People can just see what's going on where. And it potentially identifies where you might want to do more work, it potentially identifies, where you're doing maybe too much on something. So Again, I think visualizing data in an age when we've got so much data, I think it's very important to be able to visualize it effectively so you can get the message across to large groups of people in short amounts of time. Yes?
How do you keep this up to date?
Well, I think this is a great question because I guess you can ask that of the database, you can ask this of the website itself, and I think the process becomes just as important as the technology. So one of the key things with it is, it's all collaborative, it's all open. So we're not going around asking people what their audits are and looking at them themselves. We've got software that's set up so there's a form, we can send it out to people. We've got key stakeholders involved, so particularly in terms of the audit, we've got all the audit leads at the different centres involved as administrators. They're involved on the back end of the software, where they can log in and there's a control step. So actually, anybody who submits an audit, it has to go through an audit lead first before it becomes live. And we've kind of employed this process, with the website as a whole itself. So again, what you're seeing is just, I say chair ACTA, which is our regional trainees body, but we've worked together with the School of Anaesthesia, the Deanery, and with individual hospitals, and with key individuals like the college tutors at the hospitals to work together on it. So we've got key individuals in their roles. It's all built in the Google framework, which I believe is a really easy to use framework. So again, what you're seeing, apart from the database, doesn't involve any coding. It's much more about what you described, which is a good process, having key stakeholders involved, and having assigned roles for those people. Because like you say, one person wants to group of people, you can't make a project work. You have to be collaborative when you do these things.
I just wanted to ask about the information on the website, but presumably it will be anonymised, but is it available to the public, and would there be any concerns about audit data being readily available for hospitals?
Again, that's a good question, and I'm glad you asked it, because one of the other key stakeholders we've had involved from the absolute outset in this has been the IT departments, and particularly the IT security departments. So one of the things that makes Google a great framework for us to build this on was that was sort of intrinsic to Google. And that for starters, we had a mailing list as a group of trainees. We used to email each other around and stay in touch. And that actually becomes, when you go through Google, becomes the security backend for the site. So we have a user list on the website. It's the same as our mailing list. People can get onto the generic side. Anybody can get onto the generic side of things, information about the Royal College, nothing that's precise. But to get into the hospital information, to get into see contact details, see induction documents, you not only have to have a Google login, you have to be on our mailing list. And again, the bottom line is that satisfied all the local IT departments, and particularly their security people, that what we were doing was appropriate.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much.